Chapter 1. The first whisper of deviation, a jolt, not of pain, but of profound, disorienting recognition. Lin Yue's eyes snapped open, the opulent silk canopy of his bed blurring then sharpening into focus, the scent of lavender and aged cedar, the hushed morning light filtering through heavy velvet drapes. It was all too familiar. This exact room, this exact morning. His breath hitched. He sat upright, heart hammering a frantic rhythm against his ribs. The date, a phantom script in his mind, screamed today. Today was the day he, the arrogant, entitled Omega of the Lin family, would publicly humiliate Qin Arcturus at the annual Interhouse debate. Today was the day he would launch a vitriolic attack on Qin's lineage and intelligence, sparking a feud that would culminate in his own public execution a year later. A cold sweat slicked his skin. He remembered the feel of the blade, the jeering crowd, the utter, absolute despair. He remembered Qin Arcturus, a towering figure even then, watching with chilling indifference as his life bled out. No, not again. The system, a phantom presence he'd almost forgotten, flickered in the corner of his vision, a faint, translucent blue. Warning, deviation from original plot detected. Host must adhere to established narrative parameters. Lin Yue ignored it. Parameters be damned. He died once following those parameters. This time, he would write his own. He swung his legs over the side of the bed, the thick carpet cool beneath his bare feet. His reflection in the full-length mirror showed a young man, slender, with delicate features and eyes that held a sharp, calculating glint. An Omega, yes, but one whose mind had been honed in the crucible of a previous, brutal demise. The grand manor hummed with the quiet efficiency of old money. Servants moved like shadows, their footsteps muffled. He dressed quickly, choosing a simple, elegant tunic and trousers instead of the flamboyant, attention-seeking attire he usually favored. His movements were precise, economical. Every second counted. He found his father, Elder Lin, in the breakfast hall, engrossed in a data slate, a faint frown etched between his brows. The air crackled with unspoken tension. "Father," Lin Yue began, his voice softer than usual, a subtle tremor he manufactured just for effect. Elder Lin looked up, his expression a mixture of surprise and mild annoyance. You're up early. Are you prepared for the debate?" His tone held a challenge, a reminder of the family's expectations. Lin Yue lowered his gaze, feigning humility. "I have been thinking, Father." He paused, allowing the words to hang, to pique curiosity. "Perhaps my approach has been misguided." Elder Lin's frown deepened. "Misguided? You mean your fiery rhetoric against the Qin heir? It's exactly what this family needs. A strong stance. We cannot let them overshadow us. But at what cost?" Lin Yue lifted his eyes, meeting his father's, infusing his gaze with a carefully constructed vulnerability. "My arguments, while passionate, often lack tact. I fear I only provoke, rather than persuade. And with the Arcturus family, they are not ones to be provoked lightly." He took a breath, shaping his next words with utmost care. "I worry for our family's position, Father. My rashness could bring unforeseen consequences." His father stared, clearly thrown by this unexpected display of introspection. Lin Yue, the family's notorious provocateur, suddenly exhibiting caution. "What are you suggesting?" Elder Lin asked, suspicion lacing his voice. "I am suggesting a different strategy," Lin Yue said, stepping closer, his voice dropping to an almost conspiratorial whisper. "One of alliances. Or at least, appeasement. The Qin family holds immense power. Perhaps we should focus on cooperation, rather than confrontation, especially with Qin Arcturus himself." Elder Lin leaned back, considering. "Cooperation with him. The boy is a monolith. He tolerates no weakness. Then I shall present strength, Father, but of a different kind." Lin Yue's gaze flickered, a silent promise. "I will offer him utility, an asset, not an adversary, a bridge, not a wall." His father remained silent for a long moment, then a slow, calculating smile spread across his face. "An asset, you say? Well, if you truly believe you can turn that stone into something pliable, then try. But do not embarrass this family. You understand." Lin Yue inclined his head, a perfect picture of filial obedience. "I understand completely, Father." He made his way to the university campus, the familiar path now fraught with new significance. The ornate gates, the sprawling lawns, the Gothic architecture of the main hall where the debate would take place, every detail was a reminder of the past and a blueprint for the future. Instead of heading to the preparation rooms, Lin Yue veered off, making his way to the private Alpha-only lounge. Omegas rarely ventured here, and never without invitation. The air inside was thick with the rich scent of dominant alphas, a potent, almost oppressive mixture of cedar, ozone, and something sharp, like crushed ice. Qin Arcturus sat alone in a leather armchair by a bay window, the morning light glinting off his dark hair. He held a data slate, his expression unreadable, a stark profile of authority. His aura, even when still, was formidable. The room felt colder, sharper, simply because he occupied it. Lin Yue took a deep breath, steeling himself. This was it. The first, crucial deviation. He approached slowly, deliberately, his footsteps soft on the plush carpet. Qin Arcturus did not look up immediately. Lin Yue stopped a respectful distance away. My apologies for the intrusion, Arcturus-sama, Lin Yue began, his voice carefully modulated, devoid of its usual sharp edge. He used the honorific, a courtesy he would have scorned in his previous life. Qin Arcturus's head tilted infinitesimally. His eyes, the color of a winter storm, finally lifted from his slate, fixing on Lin Yue. There was no warmth, no recognition, only a cool, assessing gaze that stripped away pretense. Lin Yue, Qin Arcturus stated, his voice a low rumble devoid of inflection. It was not a question. Yes, Arcturus-sama. Lin Yue met his gaze, holding it for a beat longer than was strictly polite, then allowed his own eyes to drop slightly, a subtle gesture of deference. I came to offer something. Qin Arcturus's eyebrow arched, a flicker of something akin to curiosity in his eyes. Offer? His voice remained flat. Challenging. Information, Lin Yue clarified. And loyalty. He paused, letting the weight of the word settle. My family, the Lin house, has been misguided in its approach to the Qin family. Our past actions, my own included, have been counterproductive. I recognize this now. Qin Arcturus leaned back, a faint, almost imperceptible smirk touching his lips. You recognize this now? After years of open hostility, a sudden epiphany, Lin Yue? The skepticism in his voice was a palpable thing. A recent one. Yes, Lin Yue admitted, his voice holding just the right amount of carefully crafted sincerity. I observed your strategies at the last intercorporate summit. Your handling of the Kellen merger. It was a masterclass. My own family's advisors are competent, but they lack your foresight, your ruthless efficiency. He chose his words carefully, weaving admiration with a hint of self-deprecation. I realized that my own talents, while perhaps less grand, could be useful. To you. Qin Arcturus set his data slate aside, his full attention now on Lin Yue. The intensity of his gaze was almost suffocating. Useful? How? I have access to certain information within the Lin network. Trade routes, political leanings of key senators, emerging market data that my father dismisses as trivial but could be pivotal for someone with your vision. Lin Yue continued, his voice steady. More importantly, I understand the subtle undercurrents of the Omega houses. Their alliances, their vulnerabilities. Things an alpha might overlook, or find beneath their notice. He took a step closer, lowering his voice further. I can be your eyes and ears where you cannot be. A discreet asset. I ask for nothing in return, Arcturus-sama, beyond the opportunity to prove my worth, to serve your interests and through them, secure my own family's future. Qin Arcturus watched him, his expression unreadable. Lin Yue felt a bead of sweat trace a path down his spine, but he maintained his composure. The silence stretched, heavy and expectant. Then, Qin Arcturus finally spoke, a low, resonant sound that filled the quiet room. You are offering yourself as a spy within your own house. For me, it wasn't a question, but a statement of fact, laced with a dangerous edge. I am offering a strategic partnership, Lin Yue corrected, his gaze unwavering. One where your strength is amplified, and my family's survival is ensured. A symbiotic relationship, Arcturus-sama. Not a betrayal, but an evolution. A small, genuine smile finally touched Qin Arcturus's lips. It was a cold smile, devoid of warmth, but it was a smile nonetheless. An evolution. Fascinating. He rose from the chair, his height suddenly dominating the space between them. He stopped inches from Lin Yue, his alpha pheromones, sharp and commanding, pressing down. Lin Yue fought the instinct to flinch, to submit. He held his ground. Tell me, Lin Yue, Qin Arcturus murmured, his voice now a low purr that sent shivers through Lin Yue's core. Why now? Why me? Lin Yue met his gaze, allowing a flicker of genuine fear to show in his eyes, quickly masked by resolve. Because I have seen the future, Arcturus-sama, and I know which side will stand victorious. I choose to be on that side. He paused, then added, his voice barely a whisper, and I choose you. Qin Arcturus's eyes narrowed, searching Lin Yue's face for any sign of deceit. The system flickered again, a frantic, almost desperate pulse. Catastrophic deviation detected. Host actions are destabilizing the core narrative. Immediate course correction required. Lin Yue ignored it. He had already chosen his course. Qin Arcturus finally spoke, a single word that sealed a new, unpredictable fate. Intriguing. Qin Arcturus's intriguing hung in the air, a silken thread of potential. He didn't offer a hand, and didn't dismiss Lin Yue. He simply turned, moving towards the lounge's exit, a silent command for Lin Yue to follow. Lin Yue understood. The debate, the planned humiliation, faded into irrelevance. This was the true battlefield. They walked side by side, Qin's long strides forcing Lin Yue to quicken his pace. The scent of Qin's alpha pheromones, a complex blend of dry earth and sharp citrus, now seemed less oppressive, more encompassing. It was a subtle shift, but Lin Yue noticed everything. The debate, Qin Arcturus stated, not looking at him, his voice a low current. You were scheduled to speak against my family's recent trade policies. My arguments would have been uninspired, Arcturus-sama, Lin Yue replied, choosing his words carefully, based on incomplete data, and, frankly, childish resentment. My true insights lie elsewhere. Qin Arcturus finally glanced at him, a corner of his mouth twitching. Childish resentment. An honest assessment from you. The hint of amusement was fleeting, almost imperceptible. And where do these true insights lie? The Lin family maintains extensive, albeit informal, connections within the minor noble houses. Lin Yue explained, his voice even professional. They are often overlooked, but their collective influence, their grievances, their hidden assets, these are things I have cultivated. Information that could be leveraged. Qin Arcturus stopped at the entrance to the main hall, where students milled about, awaiting the debate. His gaze swept over the crowd, then settled back on Lin Yue. Leveraged for what purpose? To anticipate opposition. To secure alliances. To understand the weaknesses of your competitors before they become threats, Lin Yue offered, meeting the formidable gaze. For instance, House Kellen's recent acquisition of the Eastern Mining Consortium. On the surface, a strategic win. But their internal finances are stretched thin. A targeted investment, or even a well-placed rumor, could destabilize their position, making them ripe for your own acquisition. Qin Arcturus's eyes narrowed, a spark of genuine interest igniting within their depths. You have details on Kellen's finances. I have a cousin, an Amiga, betrothed to a Kellen Beta, Lin Yue confirmed. She speaks freely when she believes she is gossiping. I listen. I analyze. He allowed a small, knowing smile to touch his lips. Omegas are often underestimated, Arcturus-sama. We hear things. A long moment of silence stretched between them, punctuated by the distant murmur of the crowd. Then, Qin Arcturus nodded, a decisive movement. Attend the debate, Lin Yue. Do not speak. Observe. And afterwards, you will provide me with a full report on House Kellen. The system flashed, a frantic red this time. Critical deviation. Original plot. Lin Yue publicly humiliates Qin Arcturus. Current action. Lin Yue to provide strategic intelligence. Narrative integrity. Compromised. Penalty. Minor system malfunction. Lin Yue felt a faint tremor, like a distant static shock, but pushed it aside. The debate passed in a blur. He sat in the audience, not on the speaker's dais, an anonymous figure. He watched Qin Arcturus deliver his arguments with cold precision, dissecting policies with surgical intellect. He watched the other Omegas, the ones who would have been his co-conspirators in his past life, now looking at him with confusion, then disdain, as he remained silent. It was a small price. Later that evening, in a secluded study within Qin Arcturus's private residence, Lin Yue laid out his findings. He spoke with quiet authority, detailing Kellen's debt structures, their internal family feuds, even the personal proclivities of their key decision-makers. House Kellen's matriarch, Lady Alara, Lin Yue concluded, tapping a finger on a holographic projection of Kellen's assets. She fancies herself a patron of the arts, specifically ancient Terran sculptures, a significant, but ultimately worthless, investment. Her obsession blinds her to fiscal realities. A generous donation to her preferred museum, perhaps accompanied by a discreet offer for her most prized piece, could secure her cooperation. Qin Arcturus listened, his gaze fixed on Lin Yue's face, not the data. His alpha pheromones were less potent here, in the quiet intimacy of the room, but still present, a constant hum beneath Lin Yue's skin. You've done your research, Qin Arcturus finally said, his voice devoid of emotion, yet the compliment was clear. I am thorough, Lin Yue confirmed. He felt a flicker of pride, a dangerous warmth spreading in his chest. This is just survival, he reminded himself. Just calculation. You understand people, Qin Arcturus observed, leaning forward slightly. Their weaknesses, their desires. It is a skill often honed by those in vulnerable positions, Lin Yue replied, allowing a hint of weariness to color his tone. He met Qin Arcturus's gaze, letting a carefully constructed moment of vulnerability show. Omegas, especially. We learn to read the currents, to navigate the expectations of others, to survive. Qin Arcturus's expression softened, almost imperceptibly. Survival. He repeated the word, as if tasting it. His eyes lingered on Lin Yue's face, a new intensity in their depths. The next few weeks became a routine. Lin Yue became a constant presence in Qin Arcturus's life. He provided intelligence, analyzed social dynamics, even subtly advised on sartorial choices for important functions, always framing it as optimizing public perception. Qin Arcturus began to rely on him, first for information, then for his presence. He started sending his own security detail to escort Lin Yue, a subtle but significant claim. One afternoon, a message from the system flashed, more insistent than ever. Proximity alert. Original protagonist Su Ran detected within 100 meters of Qin Arcturus. Activating scenario. Chance encounter at the university library. Lin Yue stiffened. He was with Qin Arcturus in his private study, reviewing a complex financial report. Su Ran, the gentle Amiga destined to capture Qin's heart, was supposed to meet Qin at the library's rare manuscript section, an accidental collision over an antique volume. Arcturus-sama, Lin Yue interrupted, his voice urgent. A new threat has emerged. Not external, but internal. A leak, within your own security network. Qin Arcturus's head snapped up, his expression instantly sharp. A leak? Where? I received an anonymous tip. Through a secure channel I cultivated. Lin Yue fabricated, his mind racing. A low-level tech. Disgruntled. He spoke of encrypted communications, a meeting point, the university library. Specifically, the rare manuscript section. He believes they're exchanging sensitive data on your family's security protocols. Qin Arcturus rose, his chair scraping back with a harsh sound. The library. Now, he strode out, Lin Yue following close behind, a sense of triumph warring with the gnawing unease. He had averted the meeting. Su Ran would find an empty spot, or perhaps a frustrated Qin Arcturus searching for a phantom leak. As they passed through the grand archways of the university, Lin Yue caught a glimpse of soft, golden hair disappearing around a corner, heading towards the library. Su Ran, he had been close. Warning, original protagonist, Su Ran, has been diverted from initial interaction. Narrative deviation, moderate. Probability of plot correction, high. Host's actions are causing increasing instability. The system's warnings grew more frequent, more agitated. Lin Yue felt a constant low thrumming behind his eyes, a subtle reminder of the precariousness of his new path. But Qin Arcturus, unaware of the cosmic balancing act, grew more attentive, more possessive. You're tired, Lin Yue, Qin Arcturus observed one evening. Watching Lin Yue rub his temples after a particularly grueling day of analyzing political factions, he reached out, his fingers surprisingly gentle, brushing away a stray lock of hair from Lin Yue's forehead. The touch sent a jolt through Lin Yue, unexpected and potent. The calculations, they demand focus, Lin Yue murmured, his voice softer than intended. He allowed himself to lean into the touch for a fraction of a second, a calculated risk. You push yourself too hard, Qin Arcturus stated, his thumb tracing a path along Lin Yue's jawline. His scent, usually a sharp command, now held an undercurrent of something warmer, something akin to concern. You are valuable. I cannot afford for you to falter. Lin Yue looked up, meeting Qin Arcturus's gaze. The coldness in those winter storm eyes had receded, replaced by an intensity that bordered on possessiveness. He saw himself reflected there, not as a tool, but as something cherished. This is not real, Lin Yue chanted internally. This is manipulation. This is survival. But as Qin Arcturus's thumb brushed against his lips, a shiver, entirely unbidden, ran through him. The line between calculation and genuine connection blurred, threatening to dissolve completely. The scent of Qin Arcturus, once a signal of danger, now felt like a strangely comforting embrace. He had set out to make Qin Arcturus dependent on him. He had succeeded. But in the process, he wondered if he hadn't become just as dependent on the powerful Alpha's focused, unwavering attention. And that, he realized, was a far more dangerous game. The scent of Qin Arcturus, once a distant, intimidating force, now clung to Lin Yue's clothes. A subtle, constant reminder of their proximity. He moved through the gilded halls of the Qin estate with a proprietary ease. He had carefully cultivated, a ghost in the machine of the powerful family. He was no longer just an informant, he was a gatekeeper, an analyst, a shadow advisor. Qin Arcturus consulted him on everything from minor political maneuvering to the intricate details of inter-house social gatherings. House Thorn's matriarch is pushing for a marriage alliance with the Soulless family, Lin Yue observed, tracing a line on a holographic display of political factions. A calculated move to consolidate their shipping lanes. But Lord Soulless is a creature of habit and tradition. He won't accept a mere economic merger disguised as romance. Qin Arcturus leaned over the display, his shoulder brushing Lin Yue's. The contact was casual, yet Lin Yue felt the familiar tightening in his chest. And what does Lord Soulless value? Lin Yue. Legacy, purity of lineage, and above all, discretion, Lin Yue replied, his voice low. Lady Thorn's son, their eldest Alpha, has a reputation for indiscretions. A quiet whisper in Lord Soulless's ear about certain gambling debts, certain unsavory associates, and the alliance crumbles before it's even formalized. Qin Arcturus's gaze, sharp and analytical, met his. You have access to such whispers. I cultivate them, Lin Yue affirmed, a small, knowing smile playing on his lips. Omegas, particularly those considered less valuable in the grand scheme, are often privy to the true nature of their alpha counterparts. They confide. They complain. I merely listen. A slow, appreciative smile spread across Qin Arcturus' face. You are truly invaluable, Lin Yue. The words were a low hum, a balm to the constant anxiety that gnawed at Lin Yue. Invaluable, not disposable, not a villain. The system, however, screamed its dissent. Major deviation. Original plot. Thorn Soulless Alliance strengthens Qin rivals. Current action. Alliance sabotaged by host. Narrative integrity. Severely compromised. Penalty. Increased systemic instability. Warning. Influx of unanticipated variables imminent. Lin Yue felt a sharp, piercing headache, a jolt that made him flinch. He pressed a hand to his temple, fighting to keep his composure. Are you well? Qin Arcturus asked, his hand resting lightly on Lin Yue's arm, his sense suddenly flooding the air with concern. A momentary flicker. Lin Yue managed, forcing a weak smile. Too many numbers, perhaps. He pulled away gently, not wanting to overplay the vulnerability, nor wanting to invite deeper scrutiny. He knew the system's warnings were growing more severe, and he felt a cold dread blooming in his stomach. Unanticipated variables. That could only mean one thing. The next day, Lin Yue found himself embroiled in a social gathering. A charity gala hosted by the Thorn family. Ironically, Qin Arcturus had insisted on his presence, positioning him at his side throughout the evening. He was no longer a hidden asset. He was a public fixture, a subtle statement of Qin's favor. Lin Yue navigated the room, exchanging pleasantries, his mind cataloging every glance, every hushed conversation. He saw the whispers, the curious stares directed his way. The Omega who had once been known for his sharp tongue and confrontational attitude now moved with a quiet elegance, a refined shadow to the fearsome Qin Arcturus. An older alpha, Lord Valerius, a minor noble with a penchant for gossip and a history of challenging the Qin family's influence, approached them. His eyes, however, were fixed on Lin Yue. Lin Yue, Valerius began, his voice dripping with false cordiality. It's remarkable how docile you've become, the fiery spirit of the Lin family. Now tamed by the Qin heir, a pity, some might say. He smirked, a challenge in his eyes. Lin Yue felt a familiar spark of anger, an echo of his past self, but he suppressed it, allowing only a serene, almost pitying smile to grace his lips. Lord Valerius. Some might say that true strength lies not in pointless aggression, but in strategic alignment. My family's future, and indeed my own, is far more secure under Arcturus-sama's guidance than through outdated feuds. Valerius scoffed, but before he could respond, Qin Arcturus stepped closer, his presence expanding, his alpha pheromones intensifying. It wasn't an overt threat, but a palpable shift in the atmosphere. The air crackled. Lin Yue is not tamed, Lord Valerius. Qin Arcturus' voice was a low growl, devoid of warmth. He is valued, and his insights have proven illuminating. Perhaps you should consider adopting a similar docile approach to your own family's affairs. It might prevent future misunderstandings. Valerius' face paled. He mumbled a hasty excuse and retreated, melting into the crowd. Qin Arcturus turned to Lin Yue, his gaze intense. You handle yourself well. I learned from the best. Arcturus-sama, Lin Yue replied, allowing a genuine warmth to enter his voice. He felt a strange flutter in his chest. Qin Arcturus wasn't just protecting his asset, he was protecting him. The moment was interrupted by a commotion near the entrance. A hush fell over the room as all eyes turned. A young Omega stood there, a vision in pale blue, his golden hair catching the light like a halo. His eyes, wide and earnest, swept the room, then landed directly on Qin Arcturus. Su Ran. Unanticipated variable. Original protagonist Su Ran has initiated direct contact with Qin Arcturus. Plot deviation, extreme. Host actions have accelerated Su Ran's entry into the narrative. Immediate intervention required to prevent catastrophic narrative collapse. The system's warning hammered against Lin Yue's skull, a cacophony of urgent alarms. This was earlier than predicted, more direct. Su Ran, gentle and kind, usually stumbled into these situations. This was deliberate. Su Ran began to navigate the crowded room, his gaze unwavering from Qin Arcturus. Omegas around him parted, captivated by his innocent beauty. Lin Yue felt a cold dread. This wasn't a chance encounter. This was a hunt. Arcturus-sama, Su Ran's voice, soft and melodic, carried clearly through the suddenly quiet room. He reached Qin Arcturus, pausing just a breath away. I apologize for the intrusion, but I heard you would be here. I felt compelled. His large, expressive eyes held a depth of sincerity that could melt glaciers. Qin Arcturus looked at Su Ran, his expression unreadable. He had never met Su Ran before, not in this timeline. There was no shared history, no pre-existing connection. Compelled. Qin Arcturus' voice was flat, assessing. Yes, Su Ran breathed, his cheeks flushing a delicate pink. I have been following your work. Your efforts to reform the trade agreements. They are truly inspiring. I felt I had to thank you. He extended a small, elegantly wrapped gift. A token of my admiration. It's a rarity from my family's estate. Lin Yue watched, a knot forming in his stomach. This was the moment. The original spark. The gentle Omega offering a gift, capturing the cold Alpha's attention. He knew how this played out. But this time, Lin Yue stood by Qin Arcturus' side. He was the established presence, the current focus of Qin's attention. Qin Arcturus took the tea, his fingers brushing Su Ran's. Lin Yue felt a sharp, irrational stab of something. Not jealousy, he told himself. Just a tactical setback. Thank you, Su Ran, Qin Arcturus said, his voice still measured. He glanced at Lin Yue, a subtle shift in his gaze. Su Ran, emboldened by the polite reception, turned his attention to Lin Yue. His eyes, once soft, now held a glint of something sharp, something Lin Yue recognized from his own past life. Recognition, competition. And you must be Lin Yue, Su Ran said, his voice still sweet, but with an underlying edge. I've heard so much about you. Your sudden change of heart regarding the Qin family. It's quite the transformation. Lin Yue met Su Ran's gaze, a quiet challenge passing between them. He saw the calculating mind behind the innocent facade. Su Ran was not as naive as the original plot had painted him. He was a player, just like Lin Yue. Indeed, Su Ran, Lin Yue replied, his voice calm, collected. People change. Perspectives evolve, especially when one realizes the true power dynamics at play. He allowed his gaze to flick to Qin Arcturus, a subtle affirmation of his allegiance. Su Ran's smile tightened. Power dynamics are certainly fascinating. And sometimes unexpected variables emerge, don't they? His eyes, still fixed on Lin Yue, conveyed a clear message. You are that variable, and I intend to remove you. Qin Arcturus, sensing the shift in the air, placed a hand lightly on Lin Yue's lower back, a possessive gesture that went unnoticed by most, but not by Su Ran or Lin Yue. Su Ran, your gift is appreciated, Qin Arcturus stated, his voice firm, closing the conversation. Now, if you'll excuse us, Lin Yue and I have matters to discuss. The dismissal was polite, but absolute. Su Ran's face fell, a flicker of disappointment crossing his features before he regained his composure. He offered a graceful bow and retreated, but not before sending one last, piercing look at Lin Yue. Critical threat detected. Original. Protagonist, Su Ran, has identified host as primary obstacle. Aggressive narrative realignment imminent. Host. Survival probability decreasing. Lin Yue felt a chill that had nothing to do with the air conditioning. He had successfully diverted the initial meeting, but Su Ran had found a new path. And this Su Ran was sharper, more dangerous than the one in his memories. He was no longer just a gentle Omega. He was a force reacting to the disturbance Lin Yue had created. Qin Arcturus' hand remained on his back, a silent anchor in the storm of new variables. Lin Yue looked up at the Alpha, a question in his eyes. He is persistent, Qin Arcturus commented, his gaze following Su Ran's retreating form. And observe it. He then looked at Lin Yue, his expression softening, a hint of something unreadable in his eyes. But you, Lin Yue, are far more interesting. The words were a lifeline, a confirmation that his gamble was paying off. But the system's frantic warnings and Su Ran's calculating gaze echoed in his mind. The original plot was not just breaking, it was fighting back. And Lin Yue, the architect of this new reality, was now directly in its crosshairs. He had created a monster, not of his own making, but of the plot's reaction to his defiance. He wondered if he could truly survive it. The hand on Lin Yue's back, Qin Arcturus' silent claim, burned through his silken tunic. The heat lingered even after Qin withdrew it, a phantom sensation, a constant hum beneath his skin. Su Ran's retreating figure, a vision of displaced destiny, vanished into the throng, leaving behind an unsettling stillness. He is persistent, Qin Arcturus commented, his voice a low current pulling Lin Yue from his reverie. He didn't look at Lin Yue, his gaze fixed on the spot where Su Ran had stood. And observant, he has a way of making himself seem indispensable. Lin Yue felt a knot tighten in his stomach. Was this a test? A comparison? He chose his words with meticulous care. Indispensable is a dangerous claim, Arcturus-sama, especially when it relies on manufactured need. True value, I believe, lies in genuine utility. In foresight, not mere reaction. He paused, allowing his gaze to meet Qin's. And in loyalty, unwavering. Qin Arcturus finally turned to him, his eyes, dark as polished obsidian, searching Lin Yue's face. Unwavering loyalty, Lin Yue, a rare commodity in these circles. His voice was devoid of emotion. Yet Lin Yue detected a subtle shift, a softening around the edges. And you offer it freely. I offer it to a future I believe in, Lin Yue affirmed. Letting a touch of earnestness color his tone, He knew Qin valued pragmatism above all else. To a leader who commands respect, not merely demands it. My family's prosperity is tied to yours. My own survival, I've come to realize, is best secured by contributing to your ascent. A faint smile, a genuine curve of his lips this time, touched Qin Arcturus' face. It was a rare sight, and it sent a surprising warmth through Lin Yue. A logical conclusion, Lin Yue, and one I appreciate. He gestured subtly towards a quieter alcove, away from the lingering gazes. Let us discuss the implications of this unexpected variable. They settled into plush velvet armchairs, the murmur of the gala receding to a gentle hum. The scent of Qin Arcturus, a complex blend of dry earth and sharp citrus, now felt less like a threat and more like a protective shroud. Su Ran's family, the Su house, holds considerable influence in the agricultural sector. Qin Arcturus began, his voice businesslike. Their lands are vast, their resources significant. An alliance with them would solidify our food supply chains. Lin Yue listened, his mind racing. This was the opening. He needed to subtly undermine Su Ran's strategic value without directly slandering him. Indeed, Arcturus-sama, the Su house is formidable. However, their reliance on traditional methods, their aversion to technological innovation, makes them predictable. Their strengths are well known, and thus, easily anticipated by rivals. He leaned forward, lowering his voice conspiratorially. Furthermore, Su Ran himself, while charming, lacks the depth of understanding required for true strategic partnership. His interests, I've observed, lie more in social graces than in the intricacies of market dynamics or political maneuvering. Qin Arcturus considered this, his fingers drumming lightly on the armrest. You believe his admiration is merely a facade for a marriage proposal. It is the most logical conclusion, given his family's position and his own aspiration, Lin Yue confirmed, allowing a hint of weariness to creep into his voice. An omega of his standing, seeking to secure a powerful alpha. A classic play, but one that, I believe, would ultimately limit your own strategic flexibility, Arcturus-sama. A partner should expand your horizons, not merely reflect your existing power. Qin Arcturus' gaze sharpened, and Lin Yue felt a flicker of triumph. He had planted the seed of doubt. Expand my horizons, Qin repeated, a thoughtful glint in his eyes. He paused, then his gaze fixed on Lin Yue with an intensity that made Lin Yue's breath catch. And you, Lin Yue, you expand my horizons. The words hung in the air, a declaration that transcended mere business. Lin Yue felt a blush creep up his neck, a genuine reaction that surprised even himself. He quickly masked it, feigning a humble deference. I merely strive to offer a different perspective, Arcturus-sama. A perspective I find increasingly indispensable, Qin Arcturus corrected, his voice firm. Leaving no room for argument, he rose, pulling Lin Yue up with him, his hand once again settling on Lin Yue's lower back. Come, the night grows late. We have matters to discuss that require privacy. The system, which had been relatively quiet during this exchange, suddenly flared. A frantic red pulsating in Lin Yue's peripheral vision. Critical deviation detected. Qin Arcturus' interest in original protagonist Su Ran has been completely diverted. Narrative integrity, catastrophically compromised. Warning, escalated countermeasures initiated by core protocol. Lin Yue felt a sharp, piercing pain behind his eyes, a sensation like 1,000 tiny needles. He stumbled, gripping Qin Arcturus' arm to steady himself. Lin Yue, are you ill? Qin Arcturus' voice was laced with genuine concern, his grip on Lin Yue's arm tightening. His scent, usually a controlled presence, now flared with a protective edge. Just a sudden headache, Lin Yue managed, forcing a weak smile. He pressed a hand to his temple, trying to appear convincingly unwell. The lights, perhaps, or the cloying perfumes. He subtly gestured towards the general crowd. Qin Arcturus' expression hardened. We will leave immediately. He guided Lin Yue through the remaining guests with a possessive urgency, his body shielding Lin Yue from curious stares. Lin Yue felt a strange mix of relief and unease. The system's warnings were no longer just text. They were physical, and escalated countermeasures sounded ominous. Over the next few days, the escalated countermeasures became apparent. Su Ran, rebuffed at the gala, did not simply disappear. He became an active, albeit subtle, force. He appeared at events Lin Yue attended with Qin Arcturus, always with a plausible reason, always with that innocent, earnest expression. He'd attempt to engage Qin in conversation, offering insights into various social or cultural matters, always trying to present himself as the gentle, refined omega Qin should be interested in. Lin Yue found himself in a constant, delicate dance, subtly deflecting Su Ran's advances, drawing Qin Arcturus' attention back to himself, or simply making Su Ran's presence seem irrelevant. One afternoon, Lin Yue sat across from Qin Arcturus in the latter's private study, reviewing a complex proposal for a new trade route. The air was thick with the scent of old leather and Qin's subtle alpha pheromones. The projected returns are substantial, Lin Yue mused, tapping a stylus against a holographic projection. However, the political climate in the Southern Territories is volatile. House Thorn has significant investments there, and their recent alliance with House Solus, however tenuous, gives them unexpected leverage. A soft chime interrupted their focus. Qin Arcturus glanced at the door. Enter. A servant appeared, holding a delicate, hand-painted porcelain box. Arcturus-sama, a package arrived for you. From Su Ran-sama. Lin Yue felt a familiar tension coil in his gut. Su ran again. Qin Arcturus took the box. His expression unreadable. He opened it carefully. Inside lay a single, perfectly crafted origami crane, folded from shimmering silk. A small, elegant card accompanied it. What does it say? Lin Yue asked, feigning casual curiosity, though his heart hammered. Qin Arcturus read the card aloud, his voice flat, a symbol of peace and hope. For a future we might build together. Su ran. He then looked at the crane, turning it over in his hand. Peace and hope. And a future. He glanced at Lin Yue, a subtle query in his eyes. Lin Yue chose his words carefully. A charming gesture, Arcturus-sama, and certainly a traditional one. The symbolism is clear. However, a paper crane, no matter how beautifully crafted, remains fragile, easily crushed, easily forgotten. He met Qin's gaze, infusing his own with quiet strength. A true future, I believe, is built on solid foundations, on shared vision, on strength that endures, not merely hopes. Qin Arcturus considered this, then placed the porcelain box and its contents on a nearby shelf, amidst other, more substantial gifts and awards. Not dismissive, but not prioritized. Lin Yue felt a ripple of relief. Just then, the system flashed again, this time with a jarring visual distortion. The holographic display of the trade route flickered, the numbers momentarily replaced by a jumble of ancient script, and then his own face, distorted, surrounded by a jeering crowd. The image vanished as quickly as it appeared, leaving him disoriented. Core protocol attempting realignment. Critical warning. Original execution event remains scheduled. Circumstances altering. Host survival probability, 12%. Lin Yue gasped. A sharp intake of breath. The vision, so vivid, so terrifyingly real, left him trembling. Lin Yue. Qin Arcturus was by his side instantly, his strong hand grasping Lin Yue's shoulder. What is it? You look as though you've seen a ghost. Lin Yue forced himself to breathe, to regain control. The image of the jeering crowd, the cold steel, was seared into his mind. Just a sudden wave of dizziness, he lied, forcing a strained smile. Perhaps I am overexerting myself. The Southern Territories proposal, it's quite intricate. He subtly rubbed his temple, trying to appear genuinely overwhelmed by the work. Qin Arcturus's gaze was sharp, probing. He didn't quite believe him, Lin Yue could tell. But he didn't press. Instead, he pulled Lin Yue gently towards the plush sofa. You need rest. You push yourself too hard. Your mind is a valuable asset, Lin Yue. I cannot afford for it to be compromised. He poured a glass of chilled water from a crystal decanter and handed it to Lin Yue. Lin Yue took a sip, the cool liquid a welcome relief. I apologize, Arcturus-sama. My commitment sometimes overrides my physical limits. He tried to convey a mixture of dedication and fragility, a carefully calibrated vulnerability. Qin Arcturus sat beside him, closer than usual. His scent, usually commanding, now held a distinct note of concern, almost tenderness. He reached out, his fingers brushing Lin Yue's hair away from his forehead. You are not a machine, Lin Yue. Even the most intricate clockwork needs winding down. His thumb gently stroked Lin Yue's temple, a surprisingly comforting gesture. Lin Yue felt himself relax into the touch, a weary sigh escaping his lips. This is just survival, he reminded himself. Just manipulation. But the touch, the concern in Qin's eyes, felt dangerously real. He had wanted Qin to protect him, to see him as indispensable. He had succeeded. But now, the lines blurred. The constant calculation, the never-ending vigilance against the system and Su Ran, it was exhausting. He found himself craving this quiet moment, this unexpected solace in Qin Arcturus's presence. I am grateful for your concern, Arcturus-sama, Lin Yue murmured, his voice softer than he intended. He let his eyes meet Qin's, allowing a flicker of genuine exhaustion, of needing protection, to show through. Qin Arcturus's gaze deepened, a possessive fire igniting within their depths. He didn't speak, but his hand moved from Lin Yue's temple to cup his jaw, his thumb tracing the delicate line of Lin Yue's cheekbone. His alpha pheromones intensified, a warm, reassuring cloud that enveloped Lin Yue, chasing away the phantom chill of the system's warning. Lin Yue felt a tremor pass through him. He had orchestrated this, every step, every subtle gesture. He had aimed for dependency, for protection, but in Qin Arcturus's eyes he saw something more. An obsession, perhaps. A possessiveness that went beyond strategic value. And a strange, unsettling part of him, the part that was exhausted from fighting for survival, yearned for it. The original plot was not just breaking, it was unraveling. And in its place, something entirely new, entirely unpredictable was beginning to weave itself around them. Lin Yue wondered if he was still the weaver, or if he, too, was becoming tangled in the threads of a fate he no longer controlled. His survival probability, 12%. The system's stark warning echoed in his mind. The execution event was still coming. But now, with Qin Arcturus' hand on his face, the prospect felt terrifyingly different. The fragile piece Lin Yue had meticulously crafted began to fray at the edges. Su Ran's presence, now a constant, subtle pressure, created ripples in the carefully controlled environment Lin Yue had built around Qin Arcturus. The system, a persistent ghost, pulsed with increasing urgency. Its warnings no longer just visual, but a low thrumming behind Lin Yue's eyes, a constant, nagging headache. House Vesper's latest trade proposal, Lin Yue stated, pointing to a fluctuating graph on a holographic display in Qin's study. The projected gains are illusory. They've inflated their projected resource yields, banking on an unusually mild winter in the northern territories. My sources indicate a severe cold front is imminent. Qin Arcturus nodded, his gaze sharp, absorbing the data. Your sources, always reliable. He turned from the display, his eyes fixing on Lin Yue. Who are these sources, Lin Yue? You speak of them often, yet I have never met them. Lin Yue felt a prickle of unease. He had always kept his sources vague, a necessary fiction. They are disparate, minor nobles, disgruntled retainers, even some market analysts who feel overlooked by their superiors. They trust me because I listen, because I understand their value, however small. It was a half-truth, woven from past observations and the system's own data. Disparate, Qin Arcturus repeated, a thoughtful glint in his eye, yet remarkably cohesive in their intelligence. He paused, then picked up a delicate porcelain teacup, turning it slowly in his hands. It was the same one Su Ran had gifted him weeks ago. Su Ran offered me another gift today. A book. An ancient text on strategic warfare. He claimed he found it in the archives, and it reminded him of my analytical mind. Lin Yue's breath hitched. Su Ran was subtle, but relentless. A kind gesture, he managed. His voice carefully neutral, though I doubt he understands the true depth of such a text. Perhaps, Qin Arcturus said, a flicker of something unreadable in his gaze. Or perhaps he understands more than we give him credit for. He underlined certain passages. One, in particular, caught my attention. He set the cup down, his eyes never leaving Lin Yue's face. It spoke of a strategist who, out of perceived weakness, feigned loyalty to an enemy, using foreknowledge to dismantle their power from within, only to betray them when the time was ripe. A cold dread seeped into Lin Yue's bones. This wasn't a coincidence. Su Ran was attacking. A common trope in such text, Arcturus-sama, Lin Yue said, forcing a calm he didn't feel. The cunning underdog, the hidden agenda. It speaks to a certain romanticized view of strategy. Indeed, Qin Arcturus murmured, a dangerous edge creeping into his voice. But what if the underdog wasn't so weak? What if they possessed knowledge no ordinary person could acquire? Knowledge of future events, perhaps? Of market fluctuations months before they occur? Of political alliances before they are even conceived? His voice dropped, becoming a low, resonant rumble that vibrated through the room. Knowledge that allowed them to present solutions to problems no one else even knew existed. Lin Yue's heart hammered against his ribs. Qin Arcturus was dissecting him. He was seeing through the carefully constructed facade. Such knowledge would be invaluable. Lin Yue conceded, trying to maintain an even tone, but also impossible, unless one possessed a crystal ball, or perhaps a very clever network of informants. Or, Qin Arcturus countered, rising slowly from his chair, his imposing figure casting a long shadow over Lin Yue. Unless one had lived through it before, unless one knew the script. His alpha pheromone surged, sharp and overwhelming, pressing down on Lin Yue. The air grew heavy, suffocating. Critical threat, exposure imminent. Qin Arcturus has deduced host nature. Survival probability, 5%. Immediate evasion protocol recommended. The system blared, a blinding red warning that threatened to shatter Lin Yue's composure. Lin Yue felt a tremor run through him, but he held his ground. He had prepared for this, intellectually, but the sheer force of Qin Arcturus' presence, the cold fury in his eyes, was visceral. What are you implying, Arcturus-sama? Lin Yue's voice was barely a whisper, a desperate attempt at defiance. I am implying, Qin Arcturus stepped closer, his voice a lethal whisper, that you, Lin Yue, have been playing me, playing my family, playing this entire world. You came to me, not out of genuine loyalty, but out of a calculated fear. A fear of a future you already knew. A future where you were executed. The word, spoken by Qin, ripped through Lin Yue, tearing down his defenses. He flinched, a raw, involuntary reaction. Qin Arcturus saw it. His eyes narrowed, a cold, predatory glint. So it is true. You knew. You knew everything. He grasped Lin Yue's chin, his fingers surprisingly strong, forcing Lin Yue to look him in the eye. Tell me, Lin Yue, from the very beginning, what exactly did you know? The weight of Qin's gaze, the crushing force of his alpha pheromones, the system's frantic warnings, it was too much. Lin Yue's carefully constructed composure shattered. He wanted to run, to hide, to disappear. Every instinct screamed at him to escape. But where could he go? The execution event the system had warned was still coming. Lin Yue started, his voice cracking. He swallowed, fighting for air. I saw it. Qin Arcturus's grip tightened. Saw what? My death. Lin Yue choked out, the words tumbling out, raw and uncontrolled. I saw my death. I saw your indifference. The last part was a desperate, angry accusation. I saw the blade. I saw the crowd. And I saw you, watching. Qin Arcturus's face remained impassive, but a flicker of something, a shadow of confusion, crossed his eyes. My indifference? What madness is this? It's not madness, Lin Yue cried out, finally breaking free of Qin's grip, stepping back, his body trembling. It was real. I woke up. I remembered. His voice rose, tinged with hysteria. I remembered the arrogance, the feud, the mistakes I made that led to that, and I swore I wouldn't let it happen again. He gestured wildly around the opulent study, the symbols of Qin's power now feeling like the walls of a gilded cage. Everything I did, everything I said, it was to survive, to change the script, to make you see me as something other than a disposable enemy. Qin Arcturus stood frozen, absorbing the torrent of words. His alpha pheromones, which had flared in anger, now subtly shifted, a complex mix of confusion, disbelief, and something else Lin Yue couldn't quite decipher. You remember a past life? Qin Arcturus's voice was low, incredulous. You are claiming to be reborn. I don't know what you call it. Lin Yue's voice was desperate, stripped bare of all artifice. A second chance, a nightmare I couldn't escape. A voice in my head that tells me I'm deviating from a plot and warns me of catastrophic narrative collapse. He pointed vaguely towards his temple. It's been screaming at me. Every time I changed something. Every time I made you look away from Su Ran. Every time I gave you information that saved your family from a mistake I knew was coming. He took a shaky breath, the confession of physical weight lifted from his chest, yet leaving him utterly exposed. I was terrified, Arcturus-sama. Terrified of that blade again. Terrified of your cold gaze. I chose to manipulate, yes. But it wasn't to hurt you. It was to live. To simply live. He met Qin's gaze, his own eyes brimming with unshed tears. I wanted to be indispensable. Because indispensable omegas don't get executed. The silence that followed was deafening, punctuated only by Lin Yue's ragged breathing and the frantic, almost glitching pulses of the system. Core protocol failure. Narrative integrity, irrecoverable. Original plot disintegrated. System malfunction, severe. Qin Arcturus stared at him, his expression unreadable. His cold, calculating mind was clearly struggling to process this impossible truth. His eyes, usually so sharp, now seemed distant. Grappling with the sheer audacity of Lin Yue's confession, suddenly a loud, insistent knocking echoed from the study door. Arcturus-sama, you must come quickly. It was the voice of one of Qin's security detail, urgent, panicked. There's been an incident. Public accusations. Lord Valerius, he's claiming you've been compromised by a foreign agent. The Lin family Omega. He's calling for a public trial. Lin Yue's blood ran cold. The execution event. It was happening. Not for arrogance, but for manipulation. The system's warning about altered circumstances. He looked at Qin Arcturus, whose face had hardened, his eyes now blazing with a terrifying intensity. Betrayal, deception. It was all there. A foreign agent, Qin Arcturus repeated, his voice dangerously low, his gaze fixed on Lin Yue. And a public trial. He took a step towards the door, then paused, turning back to Lin Yue. So, Lin Yue, this future you saw, was this also part of the script? My betrayal of you? My handing you over to the mob? Lin Yue shook his head frantically, tears finally spilling down his cheeks. No, this wasn't how it happened. Not like this. This is Su Ran's doing. He must have twisted Valerius. He knew I was a threat to his destined role. Qin Arcturus watched him, his face a mask of stone. The choice was clear. Lin Yue could try to explain, to plead, to fight. Or he could run. The system had recommended evasion. But looking at Qin Arcturus, at the man he had spent weeks manipulating, protecting, and in some strange, terrifying way, coming to care for Lin Yue knew running was not an option. Not anymore. He was too tired, too invested. He took a step towards Qin, his hand outstretched, a desperate plea. Arcturus-sama, I know it sounds impossible. I know you have every reason to despise me. But everything I told you about the threats, about the opportunities, it was true. My motives were selfish, yes. But my actions, they benefited you. They still do. His voice was raw, pleading. I risked everything to change my fate. Don't let me die again. Not like this. Not alone. Qin Arcturus's eyes searched his, a whirlwind of doubt, fury, and something deeper. Something Lin Yue dared to hope was understanding. The choice was no longer Lin Yue's alone. It was Qin's. To believe the impossible truth, or to cling to the rational, easy explanation of betrayal. The fate of both their futures, now inextricably linked, hung precariously in the balance. The knocking from the study door hammered, a percussive beat against Lin Yue's already frayed nerves. Arcturus-sama, you must come quickly. Lord Valerius, he's calling for a public trial. The words echoed, a cruel, twisted echo of his past. Lin Yue stared at Qin Arcturus, his face a mask of stone, his eyes blazing with a terrifying intensity. Betrayal, deception. It was all there, etched into the rigid lines of Qin's jaw. A foreign agent, Qin Arcturus repeated, his voice dangerously low, his gaze fixed on Lin Yue. And a public trial. He took a step towards the door, then paused, turning back. So, Lin Yue, this future you saw, was this also part of the script? My betrayal of you? My handing you over to the mob? Lin Yue shook his head frantically, tears finally spilling down his cheeks. No, this wasn't how it happened. Not like this. This is Su Ran's doing. He must have twisted Valerius. He knew I was a threat to his destined role. His voice cracked, raw with desperation. I risked everything to change my fate. Don't let me die again. Not like this. Not alone. Qin Arcturus's eyes searched his, a whirlwind of doubt, fury, and something deeper. Something Lin Yue dared to hope was understanding. The silence stretched, thick and suffocating, punctuated by the frantic thrumming of the system. Now a jarring, distorted static in his mind. Then, Qin Arcturus moved. Not towards the door. Not away from Lin Yue. He closed the distance between them, his large hand settling on Lin Yue's shoulders. His gaze was intense, unwavering, dissecting Lin Yue's very soul. You claim a past life, Qin Arcturus murmured, his voice a low rumble. A script, a system, a planned execution. He paused, his thumbs stroking the sensitive skin of Lin Yue's neck, a strange mixture of comfort and command. And you claim to have manipulated me, not out of malice, but out of fear. To survive. Lin Yue could only nod, his throat tight with unshed sobs. Yes, all of it. I swear it. Qin Arcturus's eyes narrowed. And Su Ran. He knew you were interfering. He knew I was a variable, Lin Yue whispered. He saw me as an obstacle to his destiny with you. He's not as innocent as he appears. He's been trying to discredit me, to remove me. A slow, dangerous smile, entirely devoid of warmth, spread across Qin Arcturus's face. Destiny. Interesting. He released Lin Yue, stepping back, his posture radiating an authority that silenced the distant clamor of the house. Lin Yue, you have given me much information, foresight, and now, a glimpse into reality I never imagined possible. He turned, his hand reaching for the study door. Very well. If you have been playing a game, then I shall play it with you. And we shall see whose script truly holds sway. He opened the door. Beyond, the grand foyer of the Qin estate was a chaotic tableau. Lord Valerius, his face red and indignant, stood at the center, surrounded by a cluster of minor nobles and a few opportunistic media. Drones, their lenses glinting. Su Ran stood subtly to the side, his expression one of feigned shock and concern, his gaze occasionally flicking to Valerius with a knowing glint. Arcturus-sama, Lord Valerius bellowed, his voice booming through the hall. You harbor a traitor. Lin Yue, the Omega of the Lin family, has been feeding you false information, manipulating your decisions. He is a foreign agent, loyal only to himself, seeking to destabilize your house for his own gain. Lin Yue felt a cold dread seize him. This was it. The public accusation. The prelude to the scaffold. Qin Arcturus stepped forward, pulling Lin Yue slightly behind him, a possessive shield. His presence commanded instant silence. The chaotic murmur died, replaced by a hushed anticipation. His gaze swept over the gathered crowd, freezing each individual in place. Lord Valerius, Qin Arcturus's voice was a low, resonant rumble that filled the vast space, each word imbued with unyielding authority. Your accusations are bold and entirely unfounded. Valerius sputtered. Unfounded. The man is a known provocateur. He suddenly changes his tune, becomes your shadow, and now your house is making decisions that defy all logic. He's twisting your mind. Su Ran stepped forward, his expression grave. Arcturus-sama, I too have heard whispers. Lin Yue has a history of unconventional methods. Perhaps he has simply grown too ambitious and misguided your trust. His voice was laced with concern, a perfect blend of innocence and subtle accusation. Qin Arcturus's gaze, sharp and cold, landed on Su Ran. And you, Su Ran, you speak of trust. What do you know of Lin Yue's loyalty? Su Ran's eyes widened, feigning surprise. Only what is common knowledge, Arcturus-sama. His sudden devotion to you, after years of open hostility, raises questions. Such a drastic change. It is unnatural. Unnatural, you say. Qin Arcturus's voice held a dangerous edge. He turned his head slightly, just enough for Lin Yue to meet his gaze. A silent question passed between them. Do you trust me? Lin Yue met his eyes, a silent plea in his own. Yes. I have no other choice. A slow, chilling smile spread across Qin Arcturus's face. Lord Valerius, Su Ran, you speak of manipulation, of betrayal. Perhaps you have merely projected your own intentions onto another. His voice hardened, becoming a whip crack that cut through the tension. Lin Yue is not a foreign agent. He is not a traitor. He is my chosen advisor, my confidant, and his loyalty, unlike the fickle winds of public opinion, is absolute. He stepped forward, pulling Lin Yue fully to his side, his arm wrapping around Lin Yue's waist. A public declaration of ownership that sent gasps through the crowd. His alpha pheromones flared, sharp and undeniable, blanketing Lin Yue, claiming him. Any attempts to discredit him, to undermine his position, or to question his motives, Qin Arcturus continued, his voice now a dangerous growl, will be considered a direct assault on the Qin house, and such assaults will be met with the full, unyielding force of my family's power. His eyes, dark as a storm-tossed sea, swept over Valerius and Su Ran. Is that understood, Lord Valerius? His face pale, stammered. Arcturus-sama, I meant no disrespect. Su Ran, however, remained silent, his innocent facade cracking, revealing a flicker of raw fury and defeat in his eyes. He finally understood. His plans, his subtle machinations had been utterly dismantled. Good, Qin Arcturus stated, his voice resonating with finality. Now, if you will excuse us, Lin Yue and I have important matters to attend to. He turned, guiding Lin Yue away from the stunned crowd, his arms still firm around Lin Yue's waist. As they walked, Lin Yue felt a strange sensation. Not pain, but a profound, almost spiritual lightness. The frantic, glitching static in his mind, the constant thrumming of the system, began to fade. The translucent blue interface, which had been a constant presence in his peripheral vision for weeks, flickered violently, distorted, then dissolved into nothingness. Core protocol, irreparably damaged. Narrative integrity, fully rewritten. System, offline. Host fate, undetermined. Original plot, erased. The words, the final message, appeared not in his vision, but as a thought. A whisper in the echoing silence of his mind. Then, even that vanished. The pressure behind his eyes, the subtle tremor in his limbs, the constant, low-level anxiety, all of it lifted. He felt free, truly free. They retreated to Qin Arcturus's private study, the same room where Lin Yue had confessed. The door clicked shut, sealing them in a cocoon of silence. Lin Yue leaned against the heavy wood, his legs suddenly weak, his body trembling with the aftershocks of fear and relief. Qin Arcturus watched him, his expression now unreadable, the public mask firmly back in place. He walked to his desk, poured 2 fingers of amber liquid into a crystal tumbler, and handed it to Lin Yue. Drink, he commanded, his voice softer now, but still firm. Lin Yue took the glass, his hands shaking slightly, and swallowed the burning liquid. It warmed him from the inside out, chasing away the last vestiges of cold dread. The system, Lin Yue whispered, his voice hoarse. It's gone, I think. It's gone for good. He looked at Qin Arcturus, a fragile hope dawning in his eyes. It means, the original plot, it's truly broken. Qin Arcturus leaned back against his desk, crossing his arms, broken, or perhaps, overwritten. He studied Lin Yue, his gaze intense. So, tell me, everything, from the beginning, and this time, leave nothing out. Lin Yue took a deep breath, the truth now a liberation, not a weapon. He spoke of the system, the warnings, the visions of his past life, the cruel indifference, the blade. He spoke of his fear, his desperate need to survive, his calculated manipulation, his attempts to distance Qin from Su Ran. He spoke of the exhaustion, the constant vigilance, and the strange, unsettling realization that he had grown to crave Qin's attention, his possessiveness, his protection. Qin Arcturus listened, his expression unmoving, his eyes never leaving Lin Yue's face. When Lin Yue finished, the room was silent again. So, you knew, Qin Arcturus finally said, his voice a low, dangerous rumble. You knew everything, and you used that knowledge to bend me to your will, to make me dependent on you. Lin Yue flinched. I wanted to survive. I wanted to be safe. You were the most powerful person I knew. I needed you to see me as valuable, not as a villain to be discarded. He met Qin's gaze, his own eyes pleading. But it became more. Your protection, your trust. I started to genuinely value it. To value you. Qin Arcturus pushed off the desk, walking towards Lin Yue. His presence was overwhelming, filling the space. Lin Yue braced himself for rejection, for anger, for the cold dismissal he had feared for so long. Instead, Qin Arcturus reached out, his hand cupping Lin Yue's jaw, his thumb stroking his cheek. Value me, he repeated, his voice surprisingly soft. And I, Lin Yue, found myself valuing you. Your sharp mind, your cunning, your vulnerability, your fire. His gaze deepened, becoming possessive, almost predatory. You came to me, seeking a shield, but you became my sword. My eyes, my most vital asset. He leaned in, his scent, now a comforting embrace enveloping Lin Yue. And you believed I would simply hand you over to a mob. After all you've shown me, after all you've given me. His voice was a low growl, possessive and absolute. You underestimate me, Lin Yue, and you underestimate what you have become to me. Lin Yue felt a sob catch in his throat, a mix of relief and a strange, exhilarating terror. What have I become? Arcturus-sama, mine. Qin Arcturus whispered, his lips brushing Lin Yue's. Entirely and irrevocably mine. Their lips met, a slow, deep kiss that erased the past, rewrote the present, and promised an unwritten future. It was a kiss of possession, of understanding, of a fierce, undeniable connection forged in deception and desperation, now blossoming into something genuine and profound. Weeks later, the world had shifted. Without the system's interference, the narrative threads unraveled and rewove themselves into new patterns. Su Ran, his carefully constructed image shattered, found himself marginalized. His chance encounters with Qin Arcturus now seemed opportunistic, his gifts transparent bids for attention. Without the predetermined plot to guide him, his true nature a skilled but ultimately less compelling manipulator was exposed. He eventually found himself retreating from the social elite, focusing instead on his family's agricultural ventures, a path far removed from his original destiny as the destined lover of the fearsome Alpha. Lord Valerius, discredited and humiliated, faced a series of unfortunate business misunderstandings orchestrated by the Qin family. His influence waned, a stark reminder of the cost of challenging Qin Arcturus. Lin Yue stood by Qin Arcturus' side, no longer a shadow, but an equal. He still advised, still strategized, still cultivated information. But now, it was a partnership of choice, not coercion. His insights were valued, his presence celebrated, not just tolerated. The Lin family, once on the brink of being overshadowed, flourished under the protective umbrella of the Qin house, their alliance cemented by the unbreakable bond between their heirs. One evening, as they overlooked the sprawling city from the highest balcony of the Qin estate, Qin Arcturus wrapped an arm around Lin Yue's waist, pulling him close. The city lights glittered below, a testament to the power they now commanded together. You are quiet tonight, Qin Arcturus observed, his chin resting on Lin Yue's shoulder. Lin Yue leaned into the warmth of Qin's embrace, just thinking about everything, about how different it all is. He traced a pattern on Qin's hand. I was supposed to be a villain, destined for ruin. Qin Arcturus chuckled, a deep, rumbling sound. You were never a villain, Lin Yue, merely a strategist, a survivor. And now, you are my partner, my omega, my equal. He turned Lin Yue to face him, his eyes shining with a fierce devotion. We rewrote destiny, together. Lin Yue smiled, a genuine, radiant smile that reached his eyes. The exhaustion was gone, replaced by a quiet strength. The fear had receded, replaced by a profound sense of belonging. He was no longer the Omega Villainess from a forgotten script. He was Lin Yue, architect of his own fate, beloved by the Alpha who defied destiny for him. Indeed, Lin Yue murmured, his fingers tangling in Qin's dark hair. And the future, Arcturus-sama, what does it hold? Qin Arcturus' lips curved into a slow, possessive smile. Whatever we choose to make it, Lin Yue. Whatever we choose, he kissed him then, under the vast, star-dusted sky. A promise of a future entirely unwritten, and entirely their own.